Hi everyone, I just want to talk about this lifting of compulsory quarantine requirement for inbound persons from overseas to Hong Kong. So I just came back from Hong Kong, so um, I just want to basically make a public service announcement here. So what happened to me was I got COVID like 2 weeks prior, and I recovered just in time to go to Hong Kong. So instead of a PCR test, I did a rapid antigen test because that's what's required because I got COVID already. So if I took a PCR test, it would just show that I had COVID because of how the virus kind of stays in your body for a certain amount of time. So what happened was the rat test I did it 24 hours before I left. So I left on Wednesday. I did it on Tuesday. Unfortunately, because I did a basically like a transit to another country, uh, the test was expired. So what they're asking you to do right now is do a declaration of the negative result. So this part is actually probably a bit iffy because if you're transiting through a different country, uh, and since I'm from like the West Coast, I went to the East. Or yeah, basically I'm from the West Coast going to the East. Uh, like Japan and Hong Kong. So uh, the time zone difference added up to more than 24 hours. Okay. So when I departed uh, my initial flight and I was transiting through Japan, I had to take another COVID rapid antigen test. So in order to avoid this situation where they might ask you again, it's best if you do the test the day of you're leaving, if that's possible. Like maybe like an hour or two, because the result itself doesn't take that long. It usually takes about 30 minutes, depending on the person, I guess, and how busy they are. But that's what they told me. It takes 30 minutes to an hour to get your results. The reason I'm saying this is because when I was transiting, the test expired and I had to take another one. So I had to drop another $200 to get another test in a foreign nation. And that's a complete shocker. And that's like, it's not accounted for my budgeting for the trip. So I want to basically tell you that if you're not doing a direct flight, if you're transiting through a different country, and because it's saying a declaration of a rapid antigen test and it must be conducted within 24 hours, you're going to have to probably do another test if you're transiting through a different nation and moving time zones. So the best option here is just to take the test like a few hours before your trip if possible. If not, then unfortunately you may be stopped by a person from the airline and be told that you have to take another test. And that's the main point. I just want to get that out because I want to save people money, and because like it happened to me and I really don't want that to happen to anyone. Because the first thing from a trip, you don't expect to get dinged another $200 just because you landed in a foreign nation, and then all of a sudden you got to take a test. Like, that's so unexpected, and that's just, in my mind, it's just unacceptable, because you're never gonna be expecting another country to enforce another country's rules onto you and tell you that your test is expired. Okay, that out of the way. Test and go. So that's good that they're letting you leave and there's no quarantine arrangement needed, besides doing a medical surveillance every day. So, and you're allowed to go out, so that's better, because I had basically a 3+4 scheme. So 3 days in a designated quarantine hotel, and then 4 days of medical surveillance. So this is good that they're letting you go free after 3 days of just doing rat tests. So let's see. And then for your nucleic acid tests, I did mine at community centers. There was one at Central that I did, and it's outside. It's near City Hall. I found that one pretty good because they start at 8, and I found that pretty simple. But you do have to do it 3 times when you're there, like day 2, day 4, day 6. And then if you test positive in any of those days, you'll get a red code. So what happened to me was when I was free, I had a amber code, and they'll go for the process of sending you texts and SMS messages. You do need a Hong Kong number. So what I did was I got a SIM card when I went back to Hong Kong. If you don't have one, you can get one in like a convenience store, and they're pretty inexpensive, and you'll get a lot of data for the amount of money you're getting. Well, especially for me, because our cell phone plans are a bit expensive here, but over there it's reasonable. So you'll need like a Hong Kong number that they can send an SMS to, because when you do the testing, they'll send a SMS to that number that says you're confirmed to do testing, to go through the next stage when you're at the community center. So that's why you need one. So yeah, after my 7th day, I got a blue code. So the blue code allows you to go to everywhere. If you saw the amber code for days 1 to 7, you can't go into anywhere like a venue like the horse racing track. You can't go there, and anything that's like an enclosed place besides like a mall. You can go to malls, you can go to convenience stores. You can't eat in restaurants. You can take transit, you can take taxi. You just can't go to places that are they're like a museum. Yeah, like a museum, you can't go there because you got an amber code. But after day 7, if it's turned blue, like you're basically free to go anywhere. And those are my tips when going to Hong Kong right now because of COVID. But the main part to take away from this is, again, the rapid antigen test. If you're not doing a direct flight to Hong Kong, and you're transiting through a different nation, if the test is expired, like because you're moving different time zones, you may be required to do another test, and that's going to cost you money. So again, the piece of advice I would do is, if you can, do the test like the day of, like maybe an hour or two before leaving, or like, well, you have to go to the airport, so maybe like 5 hours, or just enough time to go to reach Hong Kong, because if not, the airlines, I'm pretty sure they're obligated to stop you and then do what they did to me, which basically tells you to go take another test. So if you're traveling in a group, like say you had 5 people, that's like $1,000 gone, because that's literally everyone has to take a test just to go to Hong Kong, until they basically say you don't need to be tested anymore to come to Hong Kong. But yeah, I hope you take that away from this. I'm just trying to help people that, I basically, it was a complete surprise to me, and I really don't want this to happen to anyone. So if you do travel to Hong Kong, I hope you have a safe and happy flight, or however you get there. But just make sure that the rapid antigen test is probably taken the day of, if possible, so that you don't have any inconveniences when you arrive there. All right, bye.